All right, how you guys doing? Class is starting to put away your cell phones, or I will collect them. Put away your cell phones, or I will collect them. Ernesto,
Yeah.
is this going to be a battle of wills?
Yeah.
Yeah? So, you know what? And your head is up. I will give you that.
Wait, wasn't there 20 students in here?
Probably
that.
I killed them.
One
of them was like, no, I ain't putting my cell phone away ever. And I was like, oh yeah? Oh yeah? Smack! Smack, smack. What are you thinking about? You like fruit, punk?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I like fruit. I don't like fruit. I don't know what the hell I'm talking
What
about.
are you
I should just be quiet. I don't know.
You like Rita?
Like Rita.
Yes.
Put away your freaking cell phone. I want you guys, because I feel like, you know what? I decided on the new year. One, I would stop eating meat. Two, I don't want you guys on your cell phones during class. Unless you guys are working independently. I don't have a problem with that. Are you working right now on anything? No, you're not. You're sitting there with nothing in front of you. You're not working on anything right now. So get something up. Very good. Quit like snarling at me. What, are you trying to intimidate me? That doesn't intimidate me. Nothing a teenager does intimidates me. So don't look at me and go, I can do that too. Ready? That's the other reason why I don't want your cell phone out. I don't want anyone recording me that crap that I do. Okay. Did you just tell me to shut the
No, yeah. I was telling Austin to shut the door.
I can't understand him.
Okay.
I'll take it.
See, Ryan. No, you don't need to, but thank you for offering.
That's what I did.
Good luck with that.
That's why I didn't have it out.
Let me give Ernesto one more day. He's very strong. He needs to. It's gonna be. I love you. Oh, no. Yeah. You already told me what. You got high blood pressure. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
That's my goal. I'm gonna die soon.
Do you want to have high blood pressure?
My head blood pressure.
You can't beat me, old man. I'm unhealthier than you.
My doctor freaked out when he saw my blood pressure. That's what you need to stop eating sugar. It's not even sugar.
No, it's salt.
Yeah.
No, it's
Salt. There is a lot of salt in Thai.
Sugar can cause problems.
Wait, how does salt...
Sugar can cause problems, but it's salt.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
But Mr. Walton,
I don't know what salt does, but I do know over prolonged periods of time, salt will harden arteries, which makes it harder for blood to flow freely through it. So that forces your heart to pump harder and faster, and that's not good for the heart. So now I know that salt can do that, but by reducing salt in the diet, people can profoundly impact and immediately profoundly impact their blood pressure if they reduce salt.
I got mine from stress.
What's that?
Mine is from stress.
Yours from stress. Okay. Well, you wear it well. You don't seem like a very stressed out person, right? Excuse me, I need to take a roll.
I could do that.
I know you can. I wasn't saying that as a hint yet. I was telling the students, and I appreciate the fact that they are sitting there quietly and patiently and not on their cell phones.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm
I
impressed.
can't see this.
She's on meeting.
Don't be too impressed, Ernesto's still on his.
What?
I'm gonna work with you. Your
Ernesto.
cell phone is out. I mean, when I say put away cell phones, I mean, I want them off the desk.
It feels like it's gonna
Off
snow.
the desk. I want them put away.
Yeah, Daichi, you hear that? Off the deck.
No, Daichi he's working independently. He's working on Apex. No, now listen, I told you guys, because he's gonna be doing that while we're going over Econ.
Well,
I don't have a problem with that.
What are you trying to talk about? Econ?
Well, it's an Econ, okay, what class is this right now, guys?
Alright. So this is study skills?
It's an Econ class. You guys are killing me.
It's my relaxing class.
Yeah, and Austin, you got an A+ in relaxing. Alright,
I'm really good at relaxing, Mr. Wong.
I'm good. I mean, glad. I don't know why I said that.
I'm good.
Of course I'm good. Okay, so any discussion from yesterday, anything that you guys would like me to bring up, or you guys want to discuss any of those terms that I threw up there? I wasn't expecting you guys to write them down. I just wanted to see what floats around in your mind when you think of the term economy, the words economy, economics. You know, like, I don't know if this stuff interests you at all. I think it should interest you, at least on a micro level. It could interest you if you think that you want to be, you want to be a business owner at some time, you would like to start your own business, or if it's, hopefully one of the things you'll learn in here is about what would be the real costs of starting a business. So I've had students in the past, I'll say, hey, you want to start a business? And going back to like the whole pot dispensary thing, the students had to like decide, well, what do we need in order to sell pot? And someone said, well, we're going to need like cabinets. Okay, how much do cabinets cost? And they had to price all of this stuff. And it was actually kind of interesting, like when they were like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this, because the overhead was so high. 1 second, let me answer this. B14? No worries, what's up? Are these, yeah, yes, I can. But if you could, do you sense that they're important, like, is it personal, or is it more like school stuff? Classes, is it a discussion that he needs to have with his counselor, and not me? Well, he can take tests with me. There's nothing to talk about. If he wants to take them here, he can. If he doesn't, then he doesn't have to. Try to save him the trip. Thank you so much. And thank you for playing along. Appreciate it. No, exactly. Yeah. The problem is the two of us did not just fall off that turnip truck the other day. Yeah. All right. Peace. No, hey, anytime. You know that. Okay, bye. You're freaking kidding me. Oh, it was you. Can you look up something? Yeah, look up. Yeah, now listen, you don't have to ask me. If you have work in front of you, like right now, and you're using now, the problem I have is this. When you're making comments and stuff, and you're like doing all of these things that are distracting, then I like wonder, like, well, how focused are you on your work? You know what I'm saying? So if you have if you're working independently on something and quietly for study skills, I don't have a problem with you being on your phone. Now, if you're listening to music, put it on something that you don't have to constantly go back to your phone. Okay? Other than that, you don't have to ask me permission to look up something on your phone if it's related to the work you're doing. Okay, so as far as our discussion yesterday, were there any questions about any of the stuff that we threw up on the board, like any of the terms? Was there something that you saw like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. Like, what's that? that? Nothing?
I left it.
Okay. You know, we threw up like different types of financial institutions. Banks, you guys remember the types of financial institutions? You guys remember from yesterday?
Credit union.
Credit unions, very good. What else? There were three. We said banks, credit unions, what was the other one? SNLs. You remember what SNL stands? Not Saturday Night Live. Remember what it stands for?
Funding and loans.
Excellent. Savings and loans. So there's savings and loan associations. Oh, and then there's a guy named Rocco Wieneretto. It's called a loan shark. You go talk to Rocco.
It's in Brooklyn.
Yeah. You guys don't know who Rocco Wieneretto is. Okay. Back in the old days, obviously this is one of those jokes that falls flat. Back in the old days, Saturday Night Live used to have a character named Mr. Bob. And Mr. Bob was this clay thing, this clay, so they used to do this claymation. Hey, yeah,
Mr. Bill?
oh yeah, Mr. Bill. Is it Mr. Bob?
Oh no, Mr. Bill.
Oh no, Mr. Bill. And there was a nemesis named the sausage guy. It was Rocco Wieneretto. And he was made out of sausage.
I can tell.
And he would like attack Mr. Bill. And he would do things like, oh no, don't hurt me. And then he'd knock off Mr. Bill's head. It was totally
I want to
stupid.
say YouTube Mr. Bill.
I'm sure there
There
are.
probably is. Mr. Ball.
So anyway, but Rocco Wieneretto was this kind of like neighborhood thug. That's what he was supposed to be, so that was the joke. That you could always get a loan shark to loan you money. You want to avoid that, okay? All right, if there's no questions, then let's get into it. Chapter 1, open up your books.
Should I go get
Let's get to it. Why didn't you come? I said we would start reading out of our books on Thursday.
I didn't get a book yet.
Right. Okay, yes, get your book.
Okay.
You guys are killing me. Absolutely freaking killing me. Right? So, this book is kind of unlike your American government book in that the most important concepts that I want you guys to learn are going to be in the beginning of your book. Your American government book, the least important to me, the history of the formation of our democracy, to me isn't the most important thing that I want you guys. Like, I think it'd be cool if you guys know about it. But it was like, okay, how does our democracy work? Especially on a local level. Okay? So like understanding like government, assemblymen, senators, things like that. All right, with this book, the emphasis is going to be on the early part of the book, the first few chapters. The terms from here are the important terms I want you guys to walk away from the class with, like understanding some basic economic concepts, okay? And then the other thing then is also personal financing and budget, not financing, but personal economics or economics on a micro level, especially how it applies to your own kind of personal experience, okay? The realities, the expenses of living. So the other thing you guys are going to need in this class, does everyone have a cell? I should wait till everyone gets back. All of you guys who are here, do you guys, raise your hand if you don't have a cell phone. Okay. Liar. You guys are going to need them at some point in class because you're going to need the calculator function on it. Because you guys are going to have to use your calculator in this class as we do things like, I'm going to add a new thing this year too. I'm going to have you guys figure out how much income tax you guys are going to have to pay. You guys are basically going to do math. But the math is, well, I was going to say it's simple. It'll be simple for you, but really difficult for me. It's basic arithmetic. Well, that's why you're going to have your calculator.
I quit math. I'm not finished math.
Right. I understand. Okay, scarcity and you. What is economics?
What page are we on?
We are on page 3. Everyone turn to page 3. Chapter 1, module 1, 1.1. So your modules are your sections. And if you look at your book, you have your terms here. I'm going to just have you guys go ahead and turn to page page 8 and 9. Right now, turn to page 8 and 9.
It's probably honestly on the front page. Not on the front page, but on the Beyonce.
You saw Beyonce?
She's on before.
Okay. That's a hit book. So you guys turn to page 8 and 9?
You said page 3?
I know, I started you guys there and I thought, you know what, I might as well show you now the section where you're gonna do your
By the
homework.
way, that's not Beyonce.
Isn't that Rihanna?
That's Tyra Banks.
I love
If you could read the little column next to the picture.
I love see that. I don't like reading.
Do you ever watch American
And
Horror
she
Story?
looked like Beyonce, kinda.
Watch it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I mean, she does look like Beyonce at a glance.
She's absolutely gorgeous.
But if you read it.
Well,
Chris,
I'm sorry.
you are not helping.
she is helping. You're helping Chris.
That is not Tyra Banks, that's Oprah.
No.
That's not.
Alright, page 8 and 9. Sit back! Everybody!
Are you okay, Mr. Wallace? Taking medicine?
I need my medicine. Summing up the key ideas. You guys, your homework assignments, you will have 2 homework assignments per chapter. You will have to write definitions for the key terms. Okay? Where do you find, write definitions for the key terms. Okay? Where do you find your key terms?
On the top?
No. So I'm going to show you something. And then the other thing is you're going to do summing up the key ideas. So notice you have 18 questions for the key ideas. Here's what you guys are going to do. Anytime, now listen carefully, because you guys are going to write out the directive. So turn to page 8, everybody. You're going to write those out. Now there's 18 of them. I'm not going to make you do all 18. When you're doing, don't get, oh my gosh. God, it's day 2 of this freaking class.
Okay, so?
Or day 3. When you get to summing up key ideas, these are fairly long sections. I'm going to let you guys split them in half. And if there's 15, I'll let you take the smaller half. That means if there's 15 directives, you can do 7 instead of 8. That's how nice I am. Everyone's like it now. Thank you. Okay, you can split them in half. So you do 50% of them. Do 50% of them, but you're going to write them out. Okay? So, for example, number 1, it says blank exists if we desire more of something than we have. Okay? So you're going to go through there, and hopefully you know what those terms are. Okay? And then you're going to write down the term. Now, listen, you're going to do that, and you're going to do 50% of them. Or you can do this. If you can't answer that, you can go back. Now I want to go back to page 3. Now we're going to turn back to page 3. Everyone turn back to page 3. Don't talk about iPhone 4. You know, that's see, dude, everyone, he's looking at Tyra Banks and you're looking at iPhone 4s.
It's on the page.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is an iPhone 4.
This 2014 book on the way.
Okay, is everyone on page 3 right now? Andrew, turn to page 3, please. If you guys look at page 3 on the right-hand side of the page, page 3!
Mr. Wallace?
On the right-hand side of the page,
Mr. Wallace?
what?
Why are they going apples on the tree, like there's eyes and stuff? Wait, I thought this was economics.
I think because it's cold.
Not a writing class. Hey, the other Mr. Monopoly, none of them. You do, look, chapter 1, you are.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take you two. I'm going to send you both to Chuck E. Cheese. You guys can go there and play.
Really?
Yeah, it seems like you guys.
Oh, wait, are you gonna pay for
Listen. It's actually that ice on the apples those are, I believe, oranges, maybe they're apples. It's actually a serious thing because we talked yesterday about resources and natural resources. Okay? And so, let me ask you guys something. Question. Does our weather, can that affect our economy?
Yeah.
Of course. Okay? Did you guys hear Governor Brown, did you guys see, he was talking about the future of the state, the financial future of the state, and one of the factors in his budget, his proposed budget for the future, is to factor in what he considers the new norm. And the new norm that he believes is going to be ushered in because of global warming is that we as a state need to budget for natural disasters. Like what? Is he talking about earthquakes? No. Does global warming affect earthquakes? Probably not, I don't know.
Are you gonna use his $17 billion surplus?
What's that?
Is he gonna use his surplus?
I don't know what he's going to use. What is he talking about? Okay, what just happened in Southern California the other day? What just happened the other day?
Mudslides.
Killed 17 mudslides, but why did the mudslides happen?
Because of the fires.
Because of the
Plus
fires.
riots.
And the
Yes.
fires aren't due to global warming,
Actually,
per
they
se.
That's her opinion.
I mean, fires happen. People just live in areas where trees are allowed to grow. And people keep them growing. Fires are a natural part of any environment.
Well, I'm not bringing this up to debate global warming. I'm not suggesting it's because, I'm
Natural
saying this
disaster.
is what Governor Brown is. So, one second. B14. Hey, what's up? Okay, cool. No problem. That's what he says. Tell him he needs to go back to his class. I told him, yeah, because I let him stay in here yesterday, and the agreement was that he would go to class today. So I'm gonna hold him to it. So he needs to go back to orders. Okay, thanks, Matt.
Mr. Wallace, I apologize for interrupting.
That's okay.
Interjecting.
No, I mean, you can, if you have an opinion about something, you can, and that's why I'm going to
My
interject
opinion
that.
is
That's an
not good
opinion.
right now because I'm mad at Governor Brown because I had to pay an extra $250 on our car registration this year.
Okay.
Said it in his surplus.
Okay.
Me,
Yeah.
us,
Did
and
they ever
everybody.
figure out what started the fires?
They figure out what started the fires?
Did they?
I don't know.
Well, they're wildfires.
Probably he.
Possibly like.
Right now, well, no, what they're, okay. I do have some inside information because one of my very close friends is a hotshot, what they call it, he's a Forest Service firefighter. And he's high up in it. And what he told me was the winds, what happens when we have really high winds, you remember when we had those really high Santa Ana winds?
Oh.
And so here's the big fight right now. Those winds will knock down power lines.
Oh.
That's what started those
And
fires.
then the
Or
trees.
that's what started the fire, I believe, in the Santa Rosa area. And he said in all of his life as a fire captain, and he's been doing this since I believe 1987, he's been a firefighter. He said he has never seen such bad conditions and fires. And yeah, but he said the winds were the cause, that they blow down power lines, and that the power lines, of course, then create sparks, and then that starts a fire. Other fires that have been started, I don't know what happened up in Nevada County. There have been some fires, I know recently there was a big fire that occurred because some meth lab, some guy was pissed off with another guy and burned his meth lab down.
Oh my goodness.
So my friend told me also, because every year he would go back to Tennessee and Kentucky and fight fires. Now he told me this, and I kind of thought, oh, he's exaggerating. And then I read a New Yorker article about it. According to the New Yorker article, their data was even worse than his data. And he told me, so every freaking Thanksgiving, he's supposed to be done here in the state of California. And they basically have a break from Thanksgiving. Well, he doesn't, because he does administrative work now. But the firefighters have a break between Thanksgiving and basically March, okay? And then they start training and getting them ready for fighting fires. Well, he kept getting sent back to Tennessee and Kentucky and West Virginia. And I said, what are you getting sent back there for? He goes, oh, dude, man. He says, all the freaking meth heads and pot growers back there are starting these fires.
Wow.
So I read this article that said 95% of the fires in the Smoky Mountains in the Appalachian region. Because here's what you have to know. I lived back there and I remember it's really green and pretty wet. Like it's not rife. The conditions aren't ripe for a fire starting naturally. They're retribution fires between either people who are cooking meth or growing pot. That's what he said, and that's what I read later. So he said it's like, and these fires in a lot of these labs and a lot of these grows are in really kind of isolated places that are hard to get to. And so like if I'm growing dope for you, okay, and you piss me off and don't give me my cut, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to burn it down. And that's what many of those fires, they're related to the drug trade. Let me ask you guys something. Is the drug trade tied to our economy?
Yeah.
Is firefighting tied to our economy?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You guys see like the impact of this. So going back to California, what Brown was talking about, my point, and this goes back to the question, what's hanging off of these apples? The natural disasters, regardless of why they start, can have a profound economic impact on a community, on a society, on individuals, right? Because if your house burns down from a forest fire, your house burns down. You're out of the house. If you don't have insurance, you're really screwed. Where are you going to live? If you don't have a family to help support you, if you don't have backup money, people say you should always have X amount of dollars in your savings account as backup. Always. If you don't, what are you going to do if there's a disaster? What are you going to live on? You know, so there are things. Now, the question is, one of the things that we're going to do is when you guys are making a budget, you're going to look at what does your budget look like in relation to how much you make. What is your income potential? And for you guys, your income potential is pretty much nil. Seriously, you're looking at, because of your age and the fact that you're still in high school. So if I were to kick you out of this classroom right now and say, go, you're on your own, what kind of jobs do you think you're going to get? Probably you're going to get minimum wage jobs. So now you got to know, well, what is minimum wage? Okay? Then you got to look at, well, how much are you going to bring home then? If you make $10 an hour, Libby, you make $10 an hour and you work 8 hours a day, how much are you going to make? $80 a month. And will you take home $80? No. Because what's going to happen to your $80? You're going to get taxes, you're going to get deductions, okay?
So probably, how much, what is it, like 60?
So what you guys will probably make, depending on your income bracket, I'm going to give you guys a handout a little later. You're going to see what's going to be taken out. You guys are going to get about 15% taken out of your taxes. So if you make $100 a day, if you make $100 a day, how much will you take home? 15%. $100. What's 15%? So
85.
you'll take home $85. You take away 15. Okay? So if you make $100 a day over 5 days, are you saying 5 times 100? No, you're saying 85 times 100. You guys following me here? Yes? No? Okay. So that's what you have to budget for. And then you have to budget for, as you make, you have to be able to make adjustments and know what those adjustments are and how those adjustments affect your budget. Okay? For example, I am trying to create a surplus in my life, so I eliminated cable. I eliminated $110 from my media bill. So I'm saving an extra $110 each month. Okay? I haven't eaten out once this week. I've been eating at home. Last week was pretty much the same thing. Okay? So I'm finding I'm saving a lot of money now. I'm making sure I'm turning off my lights when I leave rooms. Making my kids do that. When I'm buying food, I went to a place called Grocery Outlet. I'd seen them before, never went to one. Tell you what's cool, what I discovered about Grocery Outlet, they will supply those stores oftentimes with the types of food that are popular within those communities. So up in Grass Valley, where you got a lot of hippies and they're in competition with the co-op up there, you can find a bunch of organic food. So I bought this huge bag of yams. I don't know about you. Well, they're actually sweet potatoes. I bought a huge, you guys know the difference, right? You guys know that when you buy yams, you're not buying yams, you're buying sweet potatoes. They're the same thing, right? Yeah. I bought a huge bag of yams, massive bag of yams for $1.99 at the grocery outlet. Killer deal. Guys, check this out. Protein bars. Now, it depends on what kind of protein bars you eat. Protein bars. A box of protein bars. Certain types can cost up to 16 bucks. For like 10? 16 bucks. Same thing at grocery outlet. How much do you think that $16? How did you know?
I just guessed.
Freaking
They're
no!
probably expired.
Okay.
Well, they may not have the same amount of protein.
It's not gonna break
It might
down.
dissipate.
Is that-
No, you have to, so you have to know this, the difference
Do you-
between
do you-
expiration dates, sell-by dates, and don't sell after dates,
Do
those
you-
stickers.
Do you shop the 99-cent store?
I do not.
Okay, there is one on Folsom Boulevard. Now granted, it's kind of in the hood, but it's okay. You can get so many things there for $1 that you would pay $2 or $3. Canned goods, pasta, all kinds of, check it out.
Check it out, I'll check it out.
Because, I mean, every week, we used to go when we lived over here. We would go to that, and then you get your meats or whatever somewhere else. Canned goods and packaged things, and cereals and whatever. And toilet, paper, toothpaste, all that stuff at $1.
Here's the thing, now that I don't eat meat, I'm saving a lot of money on toilet paper.
Yes.
Really? I am.
You don't
It's-
eat meat?
No.
Didn't you just say that like so many times and now you wanna become this?
Oh, no, you know what that teaches me? She doesn't listen to me.
I do listen.
You know what, Mr. Watt?
Let's go back to this. Page 3, I want you guys to look at page 3 in the right-hand corner underneath the iPhone. In blue.
I'm not.
It says economics.
Are those terms? Those are where you're going to find your terms. Turn the page, please, and look at page 5.
Oh, I see how it works, Mr. Waller.
And you notice that you don't have to search for these terms in the chapter itself.
You kinda do.
The terms come, no you don't, look at the terms, they all come with definitions. If you don't want to do that last section, you can write down the definition for all the terms, but guess what, there's going to be 18 of them.
I found it, Mr. Watt. I don't
So
know
you
what
use the terms on the side to answer these.
Yes.
So you don't have to look through all the paragraphs.
No.
That's very nice.
Yeah, but we're going to read the
Are these
we,
new books?
no, those came out about the same time that government book came out. I mean, are they new? You can see, I'm going to guess about 2000 and, I don't know, 2000 and...
They don't look that used. So.
No, they're relatively new. Let's see, this was published in...
2014.
Better than people take the class.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I looked.
You know that? You already looked? What the hell is wrong with you?
Because the iPhone 4 is a
Publication, who the hell does that? You're right, 2014. No, there's nothing. I think that's awesome that you did. I'm kidding. Still kind of weird, but.
Beat 'em up, Tyler.
Okay. No, that's cool. All right, so you guys, so here's what you're going to do. In case you have forgotten, you're going to put your name. Underneath your name, you're going to put P3. That's the period. Then you're going to go 1.1. Okay, so when you get to module 1, you can either write down, so what's on page 3, what's the first term?
Scared.
So you're going to write the word scarcity, and you're going to put a colon, and then you're going to write its definition. Or you can go to the end of chapter 1.1, go to page 8. And instead of doing the term, you can go to page 8, and this is summing up. You can just write summing up. Okay? You can go, let's say you're doing number 1. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write blank exists blah, 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 whatever else it says, and then you're gonna fill in that blank and it needs to be with the right word. Got it? Now, do you have to do all 18 of summing up? No. You can do 50% of it. Now, there's 18, so what's 50%? What's half of 18, Kevin? 15 is half of 18? I would like to sell you something. You're gonna make a great customer. What's half of 18? 9. So you can take 9 of those. Now here's the thing. I don't care which 9. You can do the first 9, that's fine. Or you can skip around if there's some points that, oh, I know this. I remember reading this and so I can do that one. I would do those. You get those out of the way.
I already found every single one of them.
What's that?
I already found every single one of them.
How do you find every single, well, look up top. Look up above them. Underneath summing up. See A, B, C, D, E, F, G, C, all those? Guess what? All of those ideas are the terms you would define anyway. You guys following me here? So what's the easier thing to do? Do the summing up. That would be quicker, but you have to know the terms. So if you don't know the terms, you gotta go back and skim through them and read it. Or you could write out the terms, but then you better do all of the terms that are on the right-hand side of each of those pages.
Can I take a picture of that?
Yeah.
You want me to do 12 of them?
Oh my God.
How many do we have to do?
Another one.
You're messing with me.
I'm.
Okay. Okay, listen. If I get asked one more question, you guys are gonna do all of them. And you're gonna do both. And not only that, I'm gonna make you guys hold a burning lump of coal.
What if we just do all 18? Is that okay?
Really good. Oh my god.
Fine! Do all 18.
Bro, you said 10.
I didn't say 10, I said half.
You said 8?
Ernesto,
nine.
don't push it.
Okay, you said 9?
I said half of them. 9 is half of 18. So if you go to module 2 and there's only 6, how many do you have to do?
3.
3. Yes?
Will you give us extra credit if we do all 18?
No, I'm gonna sit there at home and say, what a moron. Did all 18, but they only needed to do half? No. Will I give you extra credit?
Can
Can I? No, I'll tell you what. You can do all of them for every chapter to make up for all the work you didn't turn
Government.
in government.
Damn.
Do you like fruit? Any questions about the homework?
So you just want me to do 3 of them?
Any questions about the homework? Okay. All right, let's go back to page 3.
I'll be back.
If the class may be...
Scarcity and you. Are we all on page 3? Samantha, you on page 3? I'm going to do the same thing. You better be following along. If I call on you and you don't feel like reading, you better read me that first word wherever we are. Got it? Are we clear? If you don't want to say that word out loud, you can raise your hand, point to it, and I'll come over and look to see if you're on the right word. Okay? We're totally clear, right? All right. Here we go. What is scarce for you? In other words, what do you desire that you can't have? To be like Mr. Wallace. No. If you would like a better cell phone, your own car, more clothes, and more time playing your favorite sport, these things are scarce for you. Behind these examples are 2 more basic forms of scarcity. One is the scarcity of money available for you to spend. As you know, it doesn't exactly grow on trees. The other is time. Everything you do takes time. Have you guys ever heard the expression, time is money? Yeah. Sleeping, eating, doing chores, relaxing with family or friends, going to concerts or sporting events, reading, surfing the internet, and your favorite, studying economics. On 3, everyone laugh with me. 1, 2, 3. That was a joke, is this? Okay, I'm going to do this again on 3. If you guys don't laugh, you all have to do all 18 of the things on the summit. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Throw your head back in line. Oh, you guys suck. But there are only so many hours in the day. You don't have as much time as you would like, so your time is scarce. Devin? You're back. Ernesto's back. He loves me. Okay. Devin?
Okay, each of us must deal with the scarcity of time and money. So
Economists.
economists study choices. They usually focus on how people spend their time and money.
Scarcity implies trade-offs. Whenever the scarcity of money or time forces you to make a choice, you face a trade-off. Andrew?
Right down, lost. I forgot.
Why don't you raise your hand at the moment you get lost and stop and ask me where we are next time, okay?
Alright.
Okay, because I'm going to have to do it anyway, like right now, right? So you might as well do it while it's happening. We're on page 3. See where it says scarcity implies trade-offs?
Yeah.
Okay? Whenever the scarcity of money or time forces you to make a choice, you face a trade-off. Andrew?
You make a trade-off when you give up one thing to get something else.
So I'm going to explain something to you guys. You guys being in school now, you're trading off what? What could you be doing? Now I want you to think in terms of the economy, because you being in school, might that help you economically later in life? So what are you trading off, Nico? What could you be doing right now at your age? Working. So that's the trade-off right now. Now, when you guys finish high school, Devin, you guys might have another trade-off you have to make. You have to know, you have to decide whether you're going to dedicate your time to more schooling, like maybe going to college, maybe learning a trade, or working. And if you have parents, or you have resources that allow you to not work, but go to school, then that gives you some freedom that other people don't have. But those people who are working and not going to school, do they benefit from working? Economically? Sure they do. Because what are they going to earn? They're not earning an education, well, not a school education, but they're earning what? Money. They're earning money, and they're also earning experience within a particular field. They're gaining experience, and whether or not they use it for that field, if I'm an employer, and Samantha, I'll ask you this, if I'm an employer, am I going to want to hire someone with work experience or no work experience? With work experience. So you're getting something, but you're trading off. You're getting something in return, but what you have to ask yourself is this. You guys ready? Look at me. Is the trade-off worth it? Is it worth it, and is it realistic? Like, you could say, it would be better if I go to college and not work, but the reality might be, but too bad, I have to go to work. So then the question might be, hey, can you find a job at a place that would help pay for your education? There are some companies who will do that. There are some companies who have incentives like that. Because a company wants happy, well-educated employees if they can get it. That's the best of both worlds. That our employees are happy and feel fulfilled, which makes them better employees, hopefully. You were raising your hand and you said, wait, what was the question or comment you had?
You know how, like, instead of going to school, some people want to work, but yet they don't have work experience. How does that work? Like, do they train you or like?
Wait, say it again. If some people go to school,
Like, if some people don't want to go to school anymore and they want to work instead of school, like, and they don't have any work experience, what do they do? Like, do they get trained or?
so here's the deal. Some of you guys, if you have an IEP, and during your IEP they talk about something like DOR, Department of Rehab, where they talk, so they have some services that can help give you job training, okay? It's very general job training. The other thing is, you might be stuck with this, Ernesto. You're gonna take whatever job you can get and work up from there. So for example, my very first job out of high school, I delivered newspapers for the Sacramento Bee. I hated it. Then my second job, and this became my main job through high school, was I washed dishes at various restaurants here in Sacramento, okay? I actually kind of like that, and the other benefit of that is that all of these restaurants where I work, I got one free meal, as long as I work my shift. So that was kind of cool too, okay? But the pay sucked. It was minimum wage, which at that time I believe was $3.35 an hour. But it was also cheaper to live. What happened is one of my really good friends from high school dropped out of high school and he started working in construction. And he was an accomplished carpenter at the age of 18. So instead of doing these dishwashing jobs, the summer that I got out of high school, I didn't want to keep washing dishes. He got me a job at a construction site. I was a laborer. I cleaned up at this construction site. Okay, now here's the deal. I went from making $3.35 an hour to making $10 an hour as a laborer. Back then, that was, to me, it was a lot of money. But here's the other thing too. He said, hey, don't just be a laborer, man. Any chance you get, learn something. Learn something. Like, take chances. You know, like there are things that, like, you guys ever use a skill saw? You get an electric saw? You guys have never used an electric saw?
I seen them.
Okay, so they're kind of loud. And cutting straight with them, if you don't know how to use them, they can be kind of a little unruly and stuff. And some guys, and I worked with some laborers who, if they were given that, someone would say, hey, I need some studs cut, some 2x4s cut. And some guys wouldn't want to do it. They're just like, they were just happy cleaning up. But every chance I got, I'd be like, I'll do it. And the first time I did it, I screwed it up. And the saw kicked back on me, and the guy's like, you don't know what the hell you're doing.
That was the
We'll
most
continue
fun
this.
of fixing our house, I guess.
But Ernesto, guess what? I learned on the job. Does that make sense? And then I was able to move up from there. And then I made myself valuable. I became someone that was more than just a cleaner-upper. You know?
Yeah.
So,
I learn
Don't
on the job
abandon all hope.
every day, Ernesto.